This is Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thidoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
Indeed it is. Morning Juice here on a Tuesday. First day of the week for us. Because yesterday's a holiday. Bobby, how the hell are you, my friend?
Doing good. Thidoff, coming off that nice Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Ended up being a lot better weather-wise. I think people anticipated a little chilly at times, but it was sunny outside and it was dry. So those were two things that always are nice ingredients for some fun time to be able to hang out outside and enjoy some of that terrific Memorial Day weather. 3-day weekend, the unofficial start of summer. So it was pretty good. Had some good times. A lot of graduation parties and things like that bouncing around too. Throughout
Did you have those this weekend? Yes, parties to go to.
Yeah, I mean this weekend and next weekend, and are kind of I believe Arlington's graduation was Saturday morning.
Yeah,
so
right, yeah.
A lot of schools graduating over the next this week, next week. So they'll be having all those parties and yeah.
Where was your graduation? Lancaster.
This is the football field.
At the football field.
Now all these schools, I mean, they have it at the Shot.
Yeah, right. They do the big thing.
Yeah, that's why they have to do it early at 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning. So you have 5 different schools that'll go.
Yeah, you got to line them up.
And talking about it, I'm like, man, ours was it's like middle of June, not middle, probably June 10th or something, but it was hot. I mean, it was really hot. And so they would do it in the evening. Yeah, it was outside. It's like, well, if they have rain, they'd move it into the gym and you'd get like 2 tickets because then trying to get everybody in there was a much tougher sell, obviously. There just isn't the space. So, yeah, the weather was part of the element there. But it was hot, man. I remember it was always hot, and those gowns are not the most forgiving things to wear either.
That's a good point. Nate, where you from?
How's it going, boys? I'm from Reynoldsburg, so that's where I was at.
So you went to Reynoldsburg. Okay,
yep.
All right. And, I think maybe Mershon is where we graduated from, Mershon Auditorium. I can't remember where it was.
Oh, you guys were at Mershon Auditorium?
We were at Vets.
You were at Vets? I can't remember where we were. I don't know. Long time ago, I guess, Bobby. Anyway, big show lineup for you today. So we've got Bill Bender is going to join us today. We can't wait to talk to him. He's usually on a Monday. We're going to have today at 6:20 Schlegs. God, Schlegs. 7 o'clock. Get ready for that one as well. Lots to talk about today. Reds over Kansas City yesterday, 7-4. They'll play tonight at 7:40. Dodgers over to the Guardians, 7-2. Guardians post LA tonight at 6:10. OKC defeats Minnesota 128-126. OKC leads that series 3-1. Knicks Pacers tonight at 8 o'clock. Pacers lead that series 2-1. Carolina defeats Florida 3-0. Florida leads 3-1 in that series. Dallas Edmonton tonight at 8. Edmonton leads that series 2-1. Memorial Week, Bobby. I cannot wait. We've got we'll have a lot of live programming out there from the Fan. We won't be out there, but there'll be a lot of live programming out there. And we got the Pro-Am tomorrow with like Peyton Manning is going to be out there. Steph Curry's going to be out there. Chris Pratt. Can't wait for that. Peyton Manning in your cell phone?
No, never played with Peyton. Not in the cell phone.
Okay. Anyway, but it's a great week, though. It's a wonderful thing that Jack has done with the Memorial Tournament, bringing it out here. I remember reading a Sports Illustrated old copy recently, Bobby, about like when they first started that and how cool it was when Jack got that going. But it's a one of the cool things about Columbus is that we've got that opportunity here.
Well, and it's great that they moved it back to this weekend.
Yes.
It used to be. Did they move it forward?
They moved it. It seemed like I don't know. My lifetime, Bobby. It seems like it's moved around a lot.
Last year, the year before, it hasn't moved around a lot. It's always been the week
seems
after.
Like it has, though.
Okay. As far as I know, it's always been the week after Memorial Day.
Okay.
Like starting Monday and having it this week, and I want to say last year. They
moved it because like the majors
the
and
PGA,
stuff like that.
Them moving the PGA Championship up and moving things around. I think that they had moved it to the previous week to be able to give it enough space, I think, before the PGA Championship. But now moving it back to where I think a lot of people like it and where it should be, get the good fields, people come out. Hopefully we'll get some good weather. That's a big hope there where it looks, I think, to be pretty good after Wednesday.
I think so.
We'll see. They get the practice round and the Celebrity Pro-Am and all that stuff. So we'll see kind of where it goes from there.
Yeah, Rothman shows off. He'll get like these big interviews and stuff. We'll see it out there on social media.
He goes out there during the interview times. I only go out there for the actual tournament.
The play, like the actual game. Yes,
Rothman's out there every day, all day. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he enjoys it. He loves it. He's been doing that for years. So, yeah, it's a little bit bigger deal for him.
Let's make them smarter. Let's do it, Bob.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
All right, Bobby. Make them smarter.
All right, it is Tuesday, May 27th, 147th day of the year, 218 days remaining in this 2025. This date, 1927, Ford ceases production of the Model Ts and then converts and begins to produce their new Model As. Model T, you could get whatever you wanted. They'd make it any color you wanted as long as it was black. This date, 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opens to pedestrian traffic. 1967, the USS JFK is launched by Jacqueline and her daughter Caroline, thus commemorating the loss of her husband. This date, 1987, noise levels from U2 in Rome set off an earthquake and alarms from the noise that was obviously happening there. Thitoff must have been a banger of a show.
Now, look, U2 overrated. Are U2 overrated? I'm saying U2 is overrated. They're overrated, dude. I don't know why.
We're going to have issues here, Tito.
No, I don't understand. Like, I understand. Like, I still haven't looked for. It's a great song. Sunday, Bloody Sunday, yes. But,
they've got a nice catalog of music, though.
And they were here at the Shoe, right? 1 year? They did
It was a while ago.
97.
Okay, I'm saying, like, it was like a big deal. Oh, go. U2's going to be here.
Well, if you can fill the Shoe, it's a pretty impressive feat.
So did Genesis.
Well, I like Genesis probably a little more than I like U2.
A lot more.
Phil, not in great shape, though. So
not now. No, you're right. Good call.
Yes. This date, 1994, the Eagles reunite after 14 years in Burbank, California, and the Hell Freezes Over tour and close with Desperado.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Come.
I'm telling you, Bobby, that right there, greatest rock and roll band of all time.
Okay.
There's nobody, they are different levels.
It's a bold take. I like the Eagles. I like U2. I also like Genesis. Ranking those would be tough.
It'd be Eagles, Genesis, U2.
Okay. Obviously, you're a hater of U2. I enjoy it. It's okay. It's fine. I'm not a liker. A disliker.
I'm a disliker.
This date, 1995, Hootie and the Blowfish, their debut album, Cracked in the Rearview Mirror, becomes the number one selling album in the United States.
Well, there's nothing I can do. I only want to be with you.
Got Marino to throw in that one.
Are you putting
Hootie above U2? Yes.
Okay. All
right, there we go. Hootie and Blowfish above U2? Yes.
I like
Stray Cats above U2. Huey Lewis on the News above U2.
Stray Cats.
Yes.
I've got issue with that. Huey Lewis in the News, probably some issue as well. Although I do like Huey Lewis in the News. There's a lot of haters of them. This day, 2006, some more music news. Stadium Arcadium, the double disc from Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's number one in sales.
Better than U2. By the way,
yeah.
Do you ever see the Norm Macdonald joke about Ezra? Better than Ezra?
I've seen Better Than Ezra in concert.
He talked about when he said that the number one band or whatever, number two band in the country, whatever, was better than Ezra, right? And then
the number one album in the world was Better Than Ezra. Number two, Ezra.
That's right. Yes, that's Norm.
That's good. Norm's funny. I've got some stuff in my social media feed that I follow with him, and R.I.P. But very entertaining, very funny guy. Great story about that Stadium Arcadium album. I finally saw one Red Hot Chili Peppers, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years ago when they came through.
Really?
Well, because I was worried they were going to die. All of the people, all of the bands.
I can name Flea. That's all I got to know.
I never got to see AC/DC. I was supposed to go see their show when they came through here. And then.
Who's dead from AC/DC?
Not dead, but he can't sing anymore.
Brian Johnson?
Brian Johnson,
Okay.
because I want to say it was because he was a big NASCAR fan, I want to say, or something like that. And he would never wear any headgear. And so they said if he kept doing shows, he was going to go deaf.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was real life. So I was supposed to see them, didn't get a chance to see them.
Right.
But I start like Tom Petty he was always here every year, and I'm like,
I'll see him next year.
And then there was no next year. So like that's the problem. So I started when bands come through that I want to see, I start checking the boxes and going to see them because I don't know how much will be left. But that Stadium Arcadium album came out my rookie year, 2006. Like this time it was number one. So I was down in Dallas. I'll never forget, like Drew Bledsoe and Terry Glenn are both in there. I both grew up watching them play. And very different guys.
Bledsoe and Glenn?
Yes. But they were like buddies from their time back in New England.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean, they played together with the Patriots for 4 years, 5 years, whatever it was. And I think had a pretty good relationship. And Drew, they really liked each other. And listening to them, they were in like the back little area of the weight room. It was like an L. And there was like one back area, had a couple machines and a dumbbell rack. And that's where some of I call it like the vets would go lift.
Right.
And I remember being back there, like finishing part of my workout. And I was listening, and I don't know what the music was that Terry was talking to Drew about, but it was something that I don't think Drew would really listen to. And then Drew telling Terry about how good the Stadium Arcadium double disc was. And Terry, like, yeah, I'm going to go check that out. And, like, I think Terry, I remember seeing in his locker it being in there the next day and buying it. I think that was actually the last album I had bought. That's probably accurate. I went down to the Best Buy there in Dallas, but Terry buying that because Drew told him to and, like, listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I don't think that was probably in Terry's catalog.
Probably not.
Music.
I can tell you it wasn't. Look, Bobby, that like you have your peak of your athletic career. My peak was Cook Recreation Center as a senior in high school. We'd go to Cook Rec on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to noon and play basketball, open gyms. And it would be Terry Glenn came out there.
Yeah.
Marlon Kerner.
Mm-hmm. Where is Terry on you age-wise?
He is a few years younger than me.
Okay.
So, but Terry would come out there. Marlon Kerner, by the way, I don't know if he can now, could never play basketball. Great athlete, could not shoot worth a damn. Jason Gwynn, and then Anthony Gwynn, his brother.
Yep.
June Henley. June Henley, by the way, broke all of Gale Sayers' records at Kansas.
Is that Don's brother?
I think it was, but they may have been brother of another mother. And then he also played for the Rams, led them in rushing his rookie year.
Yeah.
But all those guys went out there. We'd play on, and the Ryder boys, all this stuff. But we'd play on Saturday mornings out there Terry Glenn, through the roof he could jump.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, amazing athlete.
One of the best athletes I was ever around. He was
incredible.
Lightning quick.
Yes.
Huge hands for not being, because Terry wasn't a very big guy.
No.
But his hands were significantly larger than mine, and he was probably 5'10", maybe 5'11", but not a large guy.
Nope.
And like a slender build, too.
Yeah.
Also, R.I.P.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Interesting enough, Lathan Ransom dates his stepdaughter.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Haven.
Yeah. And some more news here. This date, 2014, 50 Cent throws out the first pitch at the Mets game and one of the more iconic opening pitches you'll see.
Well, that is 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson.
Pity.
And his first pitch was not great. Just a bit outside. What can you say? Think he opened up a little early? That front shoulder.
It's good. He never had a choice between playing for the Mets or being a rapper. So
that's amazing.
That's polite.
If you've never seen it, he's a lefty, and he threw it in the home dugout, I think.
What's worse, that or Carl Lewis's anthem?
The thing is, there's a lot of people that can't sing. Throwing out an opening pitch, it's one thing for it to be a little high or a little low. But he threw it in the dugout.
Yeah, that was
like
bad.
The joke, he opened up a little early. I mean, unbelievable. Some birthdays today. Sam Snead, born on this date, 1912. I think he passed away last week, a couple days before his birthday. Not last, meaning last week on, I don't know, like the 24th or so.
Right.
Was it the 24th? Yeah, passed away on the 23rd.
23rd?
Actually, so never made it to that final birthday. Christopher Lee, Lord of the Rings star, born on this date in 1922.
A new power is rising. Its victory is at hand. This night, the land will be to Hell's Deep. Leave none alive. To war!
There will be no door for men.
Overrated.
You a big Lord of the Rings fan, Nate?
Love those movies.
Yeah, they're really
My
good.
wife loves it. I've seen like a
It's all
little
good.
bit of one.
My kids love. We watched them all. That and the Hobbits, and my one son. He even started trying to read some of the Silmarillion and everything else. There's a lot of stuff in there with Tolkien, so I always enjoyed. I love it. Christopher Lee. I was reading about him. Like, he served in World War II, I want to say.
Did he really?
Oh, dude, he's got like this crazy history.
There's the famous story where Peter Jackson tells him, imagine what a knife in the back sounds like, and he goes, I don't have to.
Oh.
Yeah. That was like, there was things in there in the battle scenes that I guess he was like,
personal.
This, yes, this is how this went. Yes. So, yeah, he was one of the best, passed away, unfortunately, in 2015. Jackie Slater turning 71 today, the 19-season Ram offensive tackle, Hall of Famer as well out there.
Lots of games in a row, right? Wasn't he the one?
I think so.
I think he had like 200-some games in a row.
It's funny, my dad played with him in Los Angeles, and then I played with Matthew, his son, in New England. And Matt played forever, like 14 years as well. Eric Bischoff, the wrestler, turning 70 years young today. And Adam Carolla turning 63. Jeff Bagwell turning 57.
Right.
Of course. I've told Shark that all the time. I wish he was here to defend him. Frank Thomas, no roids. Got hurt too much. Turning 57 today.
Deep to left field. Back and number 500 for Frank Thomas. And the fans here at the Dome acknowledging an historic event. Frank Thomas has just hit career home run number 500.
Well, 10% have come against the Minnesota Twins. Of those 500 home runs, his 50th career home run against the Twins. And everybody congratulating Frank Thomas, the 21st player to reach 500 career home runs.
He was football at Auburn, too. Did he play Bo? I don't know if he did or not. He played football at Auburn.
That's a good question. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he played football at Auburn, too.
I knew he had 521 home runs, so he had 21 after that. The two-time MVP. He got hurt too much to be on juice that off. So did Ken Griffey Jr. I said, no one will ever accuse either one of those guys.
I wish Griffey and Eric Davis both used HGH. It would have been great.
Get him on some juice, keep him healthy. Antonio Freeman, the first-team All-Pro with the Packers, Super Bowl champ, turning 53 today, and Andre 3000 of Outcast turning at 50 as well. Some passings today. Craig Ironhead Hayward passing away on this date 2006, 19 years ago. The father of Buckeye and Steeler Cam Hayward. And passing away 1 year ago today, the legendary Bill Walton.
I remember my very first game in Boston Garden. And I'm in there at his very first Celtic game. And the fans are starting to chant, Larry, Larry, MVP, MVP. And the scoreboard is shaking up and down. So I go up to him, I said, gosh, I can't hear. What are they saying? Are they cheering for Jerry? And he said, no, they're cheering for me, Larry. And then at the very end of the game, we're going to win the game unless we miss our free throws. I'm inbounding the ball, and I throw it to Larry, who goes up, gets fouled immediately, goes up, and he makes 2 free throws. Very next time, same exact thing. I throw it to Larry, 2 more free throws. Next time, Larry's guarded, DJ's guarded. I throw it to Danny Ainge. As Danny's walking up there to shoot the free throws, Larry walks up to me and says, hey, Walton, I know this is your first game here, but if you want to stay on this team, you throw the ball to me every time.
What a great one. That's a good story by one of the legends right there, Mr. Bill Walton. Some holidays, observances. Oh, goodness, today. Crap,
by the way, Frank Thomas was after Bo. I was wrong. But Thomas left Auburn. He had the school record for home runs. He had 49 home runs in his college career, but he also played football for Auburn, yeah.
Really? Nice.
Yep.
Some holidays observances today. It is National Great Popsicle Day, National Gray Day, Nothing to Fear Day, Old Time Piano Player Day, and Sunscreen Protection Day. And those are your historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays observances for this date. Tuesday, May 27th, 147th day of the year and 218 days remaining in this 2025.
All right, folks. Bill Bender joins us next. Morning Juice.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Bobby is known as the General. Tito shops at Dollar General. This is Morning Juice.
All right, Morning Juice. Tito, Bobby Carpenter, Nate with you as well. Nate, Sharks back tomorrow, right?
Yes, he is.
All right. Got a long weekend. Where'd he go? Was it the Deer Creek thing he does? Real?
No, I think that's later in the year. I think he just took these days off because he had to take these days off. So that's what he did.
So I was telling you in the break there, but there was a it might have been the 05 draft, Bobby. 04, 05, when ESPN was, I think back then it was still the Saturday, Sunday thing they did with the draft.
Yep. They didn't change that till 10 years ago or something. Yeah. And Vrabel was on there. Vrabel was like, they did like, it was. That would have been.
Not Susie Colbert. It was the. She was a blonde.
I know. She hosted NFL.
Yes. Anyway, and they had her on there with they do a panel every year of some current NFL players and talk about the draft picks and their teams and whatnot. And Vrabel was on there. He was solid. I didn't know I don't remember him doing that media, and I thought he was pretty good though.
He was on Get Up and everything as well before that. I remember him popping on there. Doing some stuff, and he did a really good job. I was always interested to kind of see the path that he would choose, and maybe in another world he would have done.
He could have been really good at that.
Well, he's probably enjoying being a coach more. And it just so happened one of his best friends gets to be the head coach at Ohio State and asks him to come help, and so he hopped in there and started helping. And then next thing you know, he's coaching, and that was his journey.
What's a better job, head coach or media? Because look, all the guys do it.
It just depends what you want to do.
God.
I mean, it's like asking someone what's their favorite color? It's a completely subjective measure. So, yeah, Vrabes would have been great in a lot of things that he did. Yeah, the problem is you got to eventually choose what you're trying to do and lean into that. But, yeah, Vrabes had a great personality and would have been pretty tremendous.
Yeah, I thought he was really solid there. I thought he would have been good on that regard as well. I thought that he would have had a great career. And it feels to me like the stress of the NFL, like being a head coach, will be a lot different.
Yeah, it's a different stress, and there's a lot of things that obviously are rough about that job, but then you're also getting to coach one of 32 positions in the entire world.
Very rare job, yes.
I think he is enjoying that. Now he's on his second iteration of it, and he's been very, very successful.
Bill Bender now joins us here on Morning Juice from the Sporting News. Bill, we were talking about Vrabel just now. Do you expect the Patriots will turn things around under Mike Vrabel this year?
Well, I don't know in year one, but I do think they had a great draft, a very Patriots draft, and got Drake May some help. I mean, you always start with the tackle, Will Campbell. You had Travion Henderson. They had a couple special teams picks late, and, his formula worked in Tennessee, and I think he knows the expectations, and he knows that organization as well, if not better than anybody. So I do think in that division there's an opportunity, because after Buffalo, Miami, and they were a borderline playoff team. The Jets are a mess most years. So, there's definitely an opportunity for an improvement.
I wanted to look at some of the college stuff here. We've had all these different, all the conferences have been having their meetings, Bill. And, you've heard stuff coming out of the Big 12 and ACC with Phillips and, the best interest of college football. And then Sankey's saying some different things about, what this is going to look like, the auto bids and everything else. Are they going to screw this up, you think? It feels like the adults in the room are going to somehow find a way to mismanage this situation, and it's not going to be what everybody really wants to see.
Yeah, you're hearing that phrase, good for college football, or good for the game. You've heard that from a couple commissioners now, and they're going to need to work together. And I've said this for a couple weeks, that the best play for college football is not to look back at the past and say, hey, and I'm a traditionalist too, and to say, this is what the game used to be. It's not what it used to be. Of course it's not. Now, your play is to perfect the playoffs and make the playoffs as compelling as possible, as fair as possible. And they got off to a good start by the seeding rule last week. So I don't know. I've been pretty vocal about not liking multiple automatic bids, saying the SEC is going to get 4, and the Big 10 4, and the ACC 2, and the Big 12 2. And that's what they're arguing about. So, to me, I think the ACC and the Big 12 have a point here when the other conferences are trying to get 4 automatic berths.
Bill, you label yourself as a traditionalist. I think I am as well. Is college football better now than it was 20 years ago?
Oh, man. I would say no, because I think it's more popular in a lot of ways. It's gone national in a lot of ways, and, it's my job to help promote the sport. But,
right.
I like the BCS era. I did. I thought, you got the 2 best teams. I think the regular season was better. The rivalries were better. Realignment. I think if you asked a lot of college football fans, I would take Nebraska as an example. I wonder if you asked 10 Nebraska fans, would you rather be in the Big 10 or the Big 12? They would probably say, well, the money in the Big 10 is good, but we miss those Big 12 rivalries.
And maybe, you talk about the Nebraska thing. I've ripped Nebraska for a long time because I wanted Tom Osborne, Nebraska, the Big Ten, not the current iteration of Nebraska. I wanted it back then. But yeah, if you could put Nebraska back there with Oklahoma, have them play on Thanksgiving weekend, whatever, the rivalry game and all that stuff meant something. I'm with you, Bill. I'd rather have that.
Yeah, I think so. But in other ways, the playoff is cool. I thought. I was skeptical about the 4-team playoff. I thought it was fine. It just got the problem with the 4-team playoff is we were seeing the same teams every year. And as much as I love the traditions of college football, the rivalries, those kind of things, I do think if we get a 16-team playoff that is really compelling and fair, you could have a run like Ohio State had last year, and that's exciting to watch as well. But that's why they have to get this right. But other, there were problems 20 years ago too. I think paying student athletes is fine. We just have to do it right and make sure that doesn't go off the rails.
So are you the belief now? I mean, with the House settlement of when the timeline that's going to occur, and you think that'll end up? Do you think it'll solve more problems than what we've had in the past?
I do think it will help, I hope they come to an agreement on the roster size. I hope we still have walk-ons in college football and those things. You need them. Ohio State has so many walk-on stories that of players that have been successful, and it does help the roster. So, but in terms of that number and what it looks like, and are we able to have other sports too? I know that football means so much to so many universities, but there are a lot of universities that the other sports win national championships. And I think that's something to keep in mind. But I do think that health settlement will help more than it hurts college football, without a doubt, because we've got to get a system where the financial side of it, the paying the players, is a little more feasible moving forward.
Bill, there was a time in the first half of the 20th century when baseball was king. And baseball. That was the national pastime, all these different things as far as most popular sport in America. And then they made some decisions and some different things happened, and all of a sudden they were not. Do you see football potentially heading down that similar path, or do you think there's really no way they could screw this up as far as being the most popular sport in America?
Well, that depends on which football. Are we talking NFL or college football? NFL has proven over the last 25 years that the appetite for it is so high. I do think fantasy football and the gambling element contribute to that a little bit, that its popularity. And I don't know what it can do to mess that up. You make a great point about baseball. I tell people all the time, when I was 25 years ago or 20 years ago, you could say that I could probably name every starting lineup in the National League. Now, not so much. And it's not that I don't like the sport. I still want the Reds to do well, want the Guardians to do well, but its popularity in my lifetime alone, it was probably number one when I was born, and now I don't know if it's number three.
Yeah, it's interesting how all that has shifted. I think people get on the top and sports like, hey, we know what's best as opposed to what people want to consume and how they want to be able to consume it. You mentioned how you liked the 12 team and the 4, just the reoccurring characters. Do you think with NIL and a 16 team format that we will start to have that variability? Because that's what the NFL people love. You've got some reoccurring characters there, and you get some dynasties, but you also get the stories where teams go from nowhere to somewhere. We saw a little bit of that this year with maybe Arizona State and some of the schools maybe in the Big 12 and even SMU. Do you think we will get more of that under this current format, or that it will settle in to really the same 4 to 8 teams being in the final couple rounds?
Well, I thought last year was a good start in being able to tell some different stories, like you said, SMU or Arizona State and Indiana with Kurt Signetti. It was cool. Boise State, Ashton Genty. You got to see the best running back in the country play in the college football playoff. Now, had we seeded those teams properly, you would have had Arizona State at the shoe instead of Tennessee. And I think you would have had Indiana and Boise State and Notre Dame and Clemson in the first round. And the point I was making about the seeding getting properly done now is last year, that first round, what was the complaint? These are all blowouts. It was 19.3 points per game in the first round, the average margin of victory. I think if you would have seeded these games properly, it might not have been 10 points per game, which that's part of making this a competitive and compelling playoff. And if we can do that, which we are now, I think it will help. So, and if we expand to 16, if for those that watch the NCAA tournament, the Big Ten doesn't have the same number of teams make the NCAA tournament every year, and it's fine. The SEC had a record number of teams last year. But I remember 5 or 6 years ago, they were struggling to get 4 teams in. So that's why I'm against the automatic qualifier portion.
Bill, do you think in your lifetime we will see football be separated from other sports as opposed like in college football? Do you think we'll see or in college sports, we'll see a football specific model versus every other sport?
Yeah, I do. And I'm wondering, and maybe, I don't know if this will come with the House settlement, I'm wondering if that's just best. If you make football a separate sport, I've heard this conversation for years. But you want to make sure, because I do understand how much revenue football brings in and how it helps for those other sports at a place like Ohio State, where they have, the softball team was awesome this year.
Right.
The spring sports, the winter sports, traditionally both basketball teams. So I want to make sure that we can still enjoy all those other sports, but understanding that, football can bring in all this money and kind of do its own thing and maybe do, the super conferences the way it wants to do it. And that conversation's always down the line, because I'm wondering how many schools can actually do this with that, $22.5 million. How many can keep up? So what Bobby said doesn't happen, that we only have the same 4 to 6 teams in the playoffs. So why not separate, do your own thing, and make it as good as possible.
Ribs or burgers? What'd you have yesterday?
We had ribs Saturday and burgers Sunday. So I got to.
Now you're showing off.
Anytime you can do both, it's a good thing, correct? And it's today. This morning's always rough because you had that long weekend. Now you got to get going and get back to work.
It's leftovers though, so you're good. It's fine. Look, if you did the ribs right, there's no leftovers, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure on that one. Bill, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much, brother. We'll talk again next week.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
That was Bill Bennett, Sporting News right there. What'd you do, Bobby? Ribs or burgers? Chicken? You did chicken. I don't know why.
No, we didn't even grill out really at all.
You didn't?
No.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you weren't American. Go ahead.
My wife wasn't here yesterday.
Where was she yesterday?
She went down to Portsmouth, which I was going to go with her.
I thought you were going too.
I didn't end up going because we had that late soccer game. We had that late soccer game.
It wasn't that late.
It was, by the time I got home, it was 3:15.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair.
It's a 2-hour drive.
That's fair.
So I wasn't going to get down there and put the boat in at 5 o'clock to then spin around. I wasn't going to stay there past noon.
Right.
So to go down for 17 hours to do all that and pull back out and would not have been worth it for me to do those things. And so without her there, I did not have reason to cook. We were hanging with my neighbors. We had a bunch of graduation parties, and so they had food and different things out. And so
that's the best thing.
I didn't just sit down and allocate, this is what I need to do to get that done. So I didn't grill out at all. Now I hung out by the pool. We had some drinks and did everything I normally would have done. We didn't grill out.
I didn't grill out either, just to be fair. But I did have friends that grilled out that I was at their place. So I was a lazy American, which is actually perfect. All right, coming up next, quick hitters. This is Morning Juice.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. I care deeply about creating a world we can all fully participate in, free from stigma, misperceptions, and barriers. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Rooted in communities nationwide, Easter Seals helps empower millions of people, regardless of age or disability. through its life-changing services and powerful advocacy. Today and every day, Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Bobby knows what it's like to be a winner. Tito knows what it's like to be thrown out of an all-you-can-eat buffet.
You're here 4 hours.
This is Morning Juice.
Seems a bit personal on that one. That's okay, though. I don't know Bobby, who does that? Who puts together the scripts for those things?
I think all the guys in the afternoon.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, you could. I think that's where it is.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
Quick button on that one, Bobby. I had it ready for it, but I didn't mean to do it.
It's all right. I get it. You're going to cut me off.
Cut you off. That's what I did. It was disrespectful what that was also. What do you got for us over there, Nate?
All right, the Big Ten and the SEC are at it again. According to Ralph Russo and Stuart Mandel of The Atlantic, the new proposed changes to the college football playoff include a 16-team format, but we can't even do a straight-up top 16. They, of course, want the 4 automatic bids for the Big Ten and the SEC, and instead of doing your traditional 1 versus 16 matchup, they want to do the equivalent of a first 4 with 13 versus 16 and 14 versus 15 for the right to join the playoffs. Bobby, why is it so hard for every sport to figure this out besides the NCAA football?
Well, because anytime there's money to be had, they're trying to extract as many dollars as they possibly can. And so with the play-in games and them wanting to add more games on conference championship weekends where you have the 3rd team in the Big Ten playing the 6th and the 4th playing the 5th for those play-in opportunities. And then I don't know how they'll select the couple at-large teams after that, but you would essentially have basically 13 spots allotted for, if you look at 4, 4, 4, well, 2 being from the ACC and 2 being from the Big 12. That gets you at 12. You get Notre Dame at 13, probably one group of 5 school at 14, and then there's 2 spots left, assuming those will most likely go to the Big Ten or SEC in just about every year of existence. And so they're trying to preserve their dollars. But my thing is, if you believe that strongly that your conference is that good,
right,
you're going to get 4 of those seeds, and you may get a 5th. Like, the SEC got 3 this year. The reason they got 3 is because they weren't that good.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but that's usually not going to be the case. So it's very, I feel like they're trying to find solutions for problems that aren't really there.
Bobby, if they screw this up, if you have 16 teams, Bobby, 1 versus 16, 2v15, 3 versus 14, just do it. This will bother me if they do a play-in thing where like the top 2 seeds get double buys.
Yeah,
that makes no sense to me, Bobby.
I don't know how they'll do that time-wise, to tell you the truth.
Well, they talked about starting the first week.
They need to start earlier
during the Army-Navy week.
Well, they need to move stuff up anyway, and that's just to get it to where it's a normal schedule. The problem is now they want to move it up and then make it this trash. Like that, you can't.
Would you start college football earlier then? Would you start it?
Yeah, because you need to get done by the second week in January. What are you rolling your eyes at me?
No, I'm not rolling. I'm thinking
the
about it.
numbers will bear that out. That's not even an opinion. That's a statement of fact.
Look, I agree with you on that. I don't like August football. It's too hot, Bobby. It's summer.
I don't want to get out of here, dude.
Bobby, it's summer.
Too hot for who?
For them.
Who is them? Who is
Not
they,
me.
them? Who is they, them?
I'm just saying that way.
Who is them? They're practicing. You do realize that, correct?
I know they're practicing, yes, but I don't want.
So what's the difference?
I don't want football till fall. Football is fall, not summer.
Well, it was football January 27th.
That's still winter. Fall and winter or football.
That's my point. Is you're getting too late into winter now. You don't need to do that.
You're okay with like middle of August starting college football games?
It's the only solution that they have. And that's the only lever that. By the way, the high school starts then now because they've added.
I know they do. They just
got to cram down with more playoff teams in there. So like that's all part of it.
I don't like. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. Yes, you are absolutely right, Bobby. Logically, if you're going to do it this way,
it's the only way to do it.
You have to do it that way. Yes, 100%. I get it. But Bobby, your dad and I grew up when football started third week in September.
You know when my dad started training camp his rookie year?
Probably in June.
The week after the week after the 4th of July.
Okay, he started. Yeah, they used to play 8 preseason games or 6 preseason games. It was dumb.
Don't tell me how it's a fall sport.
But we never paid attention to that. No, it didn't really go until fall.
Because I don't know what that means.
For me.
For you, okay.
For me, yes.
It's been 641 days since Shohei Otani threw on the mound against Major League batters, but on Sunday he took the mound for batting practice for the first time since his second Tommy John surgery. He faced 3 batters, hitting upwards of 97 miles per hour on the fastball in his biggest test of his return to date. Oh, and then he casually led off the game with a 411-foot home run to tie the MLB lead with his 18th homer. Tito, it's been slow going getting him back on the mound, but do you expect to see Otani return to pitching this year, and when?
It's a mistake. Listen,
oh my gosh.
No, Bobby, if Shohei Otani gets hurt, you lose a pitcher and hitter. I'm with you on that. Hit by a car, totally random. You're putting him out there, though, to pitch, and I would not have him pitching. You've got enough depth on that staff.
He wants to do it.
I understand
that
he
was
wants
part
to do
of
it.
the reason why he signed there.
I totally get it.
So that's why he's going to do it. So you can have all of the mystery and all of the different things with the what ifs of this and that and injury and everything else. If the best player in Major League Baseball says, I'm willing to sign with you, here are the stipulations.
Right.
And I'm going to play both positions, and then you say yes, and then you try to retrade that deal afterwards, that's not going to go well for you.
I'm not saying that he can never pitch again. I'm just saying ease into it even more. I know that it's been, what'd you say, how many days? 600 and something?
641.
Okay, let's go 750 or whatever. Let's wait till that. Bobby, I'm just saying, if you lose him now, you lose your best pitcher maybe and your best hitter for sure on this team if he gets hurt again. And yeah, I love Shohei. I love what he brings. I love the fact all the Babe Ruth compare. I love hearing every time he goes out there, he's the first player since this to do this. And it's like usually Babe Ruth is the one, the comparison on that. But I don't want to see them rush it back. I don't care if it takes another year. You lose Shohei, you lose your 2 best players in one. And that's the part that concerns me, Bobby.
He's not your 2 best players because he's not pitching. So he's only one of them.
Okay.
So by giving him that option, then he does get the ability to be the best player on both sides of the ball, and that's tremendous for him. I like watching him pitch, and they're not asking him to pitch every 4th day. They have like a 6-man rotation when they do it. It helps out the other guys too.
It does, but they've got plenty of depth. They've already spent a ton of money. They've got plenty of pitching. I know they had injuries and stuff like that, but I still think they have enough depth to win. If you want to use him in October, that's fine. You don't need to use him in June. I don't see the need for doing that, and just ease it even more than you already are. I know 647 is what Nate says, but I would ease it even more on that. I don't see the need to bring him back now.
Would you give him another full off season?
Yes,
oh
I would. I would love to do that.
He's
yes,
going to die before he gets back on the mound.
No, he won't, Bobby. I'm just saying. I think it's just how important he is to the team as far as both sides of the ball. By the way, MAGA says to me that it's like owning a car and not driving it.
Yeah, like you're going to look at it.
Is that what you think it is, too?
Yes. Like, that's why he's the best player. We can talk about them, like, in the hypothetical of him pitching, or we can actually just let him pitch and be smart about it. I'm not saying go out there and have him throw 180 pitches every fourth day, but, like, he's on a six-man
reliever
rotation.
or starter? Would you do that?
I think you start him.
You start him?
I don't. Yeah, because I'd rather have it be more consistent.
Okay.
And that way he knows you can always work around it. And you don't even have to, if you pitch him 5 or 6 innings, like you don't have to have him go whole games. I mean, just have him out there and let him do it. He wants to do it, and he's really good at it.
All right, on Sunday, Alex Palou won the Indy 500, an event Fox put all of its marketing focus behind this year. They had Tom Brady and Michael Strahan on the pregame. They ran commercials during the Super Bowl, and it paid off with 7.05 million people tuning in, the most in 17 years. It beat last year's race by 40% with the huge caveat last year was delayed by 4 hours. I admittedly completely forgot the Indy 500 was happening, and while the numbers were up, it's not like your average football game doesn't crush it in the ratings. Bobby, do you think people still really care about the Indy 500?
There are certain people that do. I didn't. I checked in. I didn't watch much of it, but I went in to see it. I mean, it's an iconic start. The start time, the time of year, it always be on Memorial Day weekend. Like those things are all big about. I know Tim May loves it. He was over there for it.
Tim May.
7 million. I mean, you're probably around your ceiling for it right there. It probably helps you if you get rain in other parts of the country.
Sure,
to be
it does.
able, for people to be inside and to have it on. But I've never been a huge racing guy, so that's not something that's going to be appeal to me anyway.
Bobby, when I was a kid, it was always on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember watching it, but it was always on. Like we had 7 million people at my grandparents' house watching it that day. But it was a Memorial Day tradition, but I could not tell you who won races. Andretti, whatever, Ray Hall, I don't know, whatever. I couldn't tell you who won it each year. But, yes, it was always a tradition to have it on. And it goes in the same vein as, like, Labor Day, by the way, was always the Jerry Lewis telethon. And I know Shark and I made a comment about that a couple weeks ago, but it's like, that's what it was. It wasn't necessarily something we watched, but it was always on. I don't know. I'm surprised it drew that many viewers because the only people I talked to that were watching it had money on it. You know what I mean? Like that's there was no other. But even back then, though, Bobby, when I was younger, you didn't have to have money. You enjoyed, like, people enjoyed watching the race, see who won and all that. But now, I think the only reason people watch it now is for the money.
It's like the gambling. So we're all
back
about
then, though,
that.
they weren't, though. I know it is now, but I'm saying back then, though, it was still had an appeal, even though it wasn't gambling related.
Listen, Rothman always says this, courtesy of Mr. Christopher Wallace.
Right.
Either you got a wicked jump shot or you're slinging crack rock. The Anna's in the dollar. All right?
That sounds like a BIG, right?
Well,
that Chris Wallace.
Yes.
It's not a different Chris. I think it was a Chris Wallace on MSNBC, but yes, that one. The other one.
That is not
the cool one.
Yes.
The cool one.
The deceased one.
Yes,
really,
the deceased one.
Really cold because he's 6 feet in the ground. But yes. So the dollars make everything more interesting.
Was it on for you as a kid? Do you remember being like your parent, like when you were younger?
No, because my parents are never into racing either.
They were never into it either, were they?
And we spent Memorial Day weekend, like ours was always at the pool. The pool's always open.
Right, pool's open up on Sunday.
And we didn't have cable growing up, and so if it wasn't on TV,
right.
But it was on broadcast television. So
right, it was on ABC, yes.
When you only have 4 options and it's still not on there, that I think speaks to kind of maybe our family level of interest in it.
Yeah, I can't. I wonder if.
I know my dad had it on, but then again, it's just because he grew up on having it on Memorial Day.
Right.
I don't think he ever paid attention to it at any point during the day.
It's meatloaf.
Yeah.
It's like, it's comfort food, Bobby. I don't, like I say, I don't
remember. You can have
remember.
it on in the background, and it's something that's a great background noise while people are having conversations and hanging out, and if it gets good at the end and like a big crash, you can see the replays.
I can't remember a single moment in my life where it's like, oh, I remember that Indy fight. I can't remember like a single seminal moment. I remember Ray Hall winning was a big deal because he was an Ohio guy.
Guys.
Yeah, Columbus, Central Ohio, Dublin, whatever. But I don't ever remember, though, like wow, this happened. I can remember other sports when things happen, but I can't remember any Indy 500. I remember that.
My sister and her boyfriend went a couple of years ago, and the only stories they came back with were stuff that happened in the parking lot the whole weekend.
Yeah, I mean, now you're getting into like life imitating art, art imitating life with Talladega Nights and stuff like that. It's
That's what I've heard, Bobby, is that I've had other people tell me that you will never appreciate auto racing till you see one in person.
Got to see it live.
Have you seen them live? Have you seen?
I've not. I've been out to the Texas Motor Speedway.
Okay,
but not during race stuff. It was during race week, but I didn't.
Right, not during that. Yeah,
I'm not staying out there.
People have told me that once you go there and you're sitting in the stands while all that stuff's going on, that's when you really appreciate it. But I can't even.
Here's the problem, though. Why would I want to go watch cars just drive by?
Drive around. I know
that it's great. I would like to drive the cars, which they let us do that and go out there and do stuff like that. That to me is fun.
Right.
But sitting there, I could just go. I could just go 315 and watch that.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand. I'm
not debating. Like people get arguments. Like it's a skill. People are very talented to be able to do.
Athletes.
I don't think you have to be an athlete to be a race car driver. I think being an athlete will help you be a race car driver.
I understand it's very taxing physically.
100%.
So is working on the railroad. You know what I mean? Like, so's that. That's also doesn't mean you're an athlete.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very taxing.
I don't think you need to be an athlete to hit a baseball. Being an athlete helps. I watched Sean Casey run, dude.
Sean Casey, yeah.
There's not very many, if any, athletic bones in his body, but the dude's got great hand-eye coordination, can hit a baseball.
Right.
Like I said,
golf? Athlete?
You don't have to be.
I got you.
If your 2 feet are on the ground when you're doing something and you're not moving, then you don't. That's like the athletic element doesn't need to be there. You have great skill in other things, and being an athlete helps. Like they're not mutually exclusive events. And most people on that Venn diagram are really good athletes.
Sure,
great even, because it's really hard to do it if you're not. But there are pathways. Like I said, when I watched Sean Casey run to first base, I'm like. It was painful. It hurt
My
me.
grandmother was more athletic.
Kurt Gibson ran better with a broken ankle.
The Gibson thing.
He was running better with a fist pump.
Yes, that's right. Harder to do, golf ball or baseball. Hit a golf ball 350 yards consistently down the middle or hit a baseball.
The thing is, the baseball is a relative sport because the pitching coming at you is going to be...
That's fair.
It's going to be different. Whereas golf, like the ball doesn't move.
The ball station. Well, it does sometimes open the tee. Yeah, I got you.
You set up your shots.
Yes.
As opposed to could you could I go out there and hit a ball off of an 8-year-old kid? Yeah. Could I hit one off Shohei? No. So it matters of who's throwing that baseball.
The second pitch he'll hit because he'll have a torn ACL or whatever. He'll have an elbow injury, Tommy John, whatever it is. All right, coming up next, Schlegs Morning Juice right here on 97.1 HD3.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
for your daughter.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS-FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Bobby Carpenter, husband, father, Buckeye. Jeff Thidoff, husband, father, idiot. This is Morning Juice.
That again sounds personal. Bobby, they need to open earlier on Tuesdays.
Who is they?
These guys. Because you sit here and you give us this information about the appetizer.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'd like it now. And it's almost lunchtime for me because I've been up since whatever. But I'm just saying it'd be nice.
Absolutely. Well, it's Tuesday, which means it's an appetizer Tuesday coming off Memorial Day weekend. And it's mac and cheese bites is the featured appetizer today. They're $3 all day long. It's the mac and cheese you can eat with your hands. Macaroni and cheese covered in crispy, crunchy cheddar coating, deep fried and served with sour cream. So good, you'll wish you were a kid again. They're $3 all day long. A little later in the show, we'll be giving out a $50 Roosters gift card for playing That's What He Said. So stay tuned and locked in here, and make sure you check out your Roosters today.
Nate, we always have Shark add an extra $1 in there, $51, and you buy 17 appetizers for $51. We'll talk about it later on, though. Anyway, now we talk to our good friend Anthony Schlegel. Schlegs, we were talking earlier about the Indy 500 and how, like, when I was younger, it was a staple. It was always on. I never watched it, but it was on TV Memorial Day weekend. Are you a racing guy? Did you watch it? Will you watch it? Was it on at your house?
No. Good morning, Columbus, Ohio. How are you guys doing? You're going to start off asking me about some piece of crap question like that? That's absolutely asinine. No, I don't want to watch racing. I'm a grown man. I work. I go do things. I enjoy being outside with people, not to watch other people drive in a circle. That's it.
Not to watch. I told him, I could go sit on 315 if I want to watch cars go by.
I mean, it's not like NASCAR, I get the fandom. At least you can hit people. At least the background, it started with moonshining. I can appreciate that. Copperhead Row. Don't go down there. But now you got open wheel cars. No, I'm good.
That's good. What did you? How did you spend your Memorial Day weekend, Schlegs? I know we're doing some packing, getting the pods up and ready to go.
Yeah, just exhausting. I'm telling you what, though, there's nothing more satisfying than just purging stuff that you should have purged 5 years ago. It's like when you're moving and somebody moves you, right, because you got to go to a job and they pay for that.
And they take it all.
It's like, they take it all. Pack it up, man. And then it just sat there. I knew there was this rolling cooler, hard case cooler that I know for a fact had a bunch of randomness in it from back when I lived in Mansfield, Texas.
Yeah.
Hog dogging. I just never touched it. It was like nostalgia. I didn't want to touch it. And I went in there and I found out it was just a bunch of random screws and nails. There was a socket set in there.
There you
There's
go.
A turkey right there. Look at it. There's a turkey right there. Bro. Yeah, that's serious. I'm staring at one. I love that. No, it's not. Hey, man, this is a bad turkey season for a lot of people. Anyways.
What's a bad turkey season? Wait, a bad turkey season? Was there a good turkey season?
A lot of them, yeah, turkey season's when you get to kill them and eat them. What are you talking about? Anyways, you digress me with that. Just talking your city life. Anyways, hey, listen. So then I go through and I just start purging boxes, and I'm like, you know what? This is a keep. This is not. I did the whole dadgum doomajig, and then I stuck this pod, but it could have been fuller. And then as I went through, I was like, damn it, Steph, I wish you were here, because she was in Jamaica with Faith for her senior trip. It was just them. And Caters, one of her good childhood friends from Columbus, they went down to Jamaica. So I'm in there purging, but you, as a dude though, you can only purge things that you know you are allowed to purge.
No, my dad used to throw away my mom's stuff all the time.
Well, I refuse to do that. That's her stuff. I also wanted her help, I'm not gonna lie, in purging my own closet, because it was, do I keep this? Do I not keep this? How does it look? Because, guys, let's face it. Listen, if your lady likes the way you look in something, you will wear it. If she doesn't, but you like the way you look in it, you're probably not going to wear it. So I was like, listen, I just want to know that you like this. And then, boom, here is my polo section now. I'm like, if people start to try to give me T-shirts anymore, I'm just going to say no, thank you. Unless it's a really awesome one. Then it's going to go in the bag, into the closet. Like, it's going to have to be a special thing. I was like, Steph, we need to make it a special thing. If we buy something or somebody gifts us something, that there is a place. But then if there is a place, something has to go. And let's minimize everything that we're doing. Now, the hope is that we never have to move again. The likelihood of that, slim. So, that's the reality of the situation.
I once owned a pair of cowboy boots. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not a cowboy boot guy. But I once owned a pair of cowboy boots because the woman I was dating wanted to see me in cowboy boots. What's the worst article of clothing you've ever owned because a woman wanted you to own it?
Oh, I don't know. I've been with Steph since I was 16 years old, so I don't know. But I would say this, probably
parachute pants.
No, never had them. I would probably say the worst phase of my dressing career had to be at DeSoto. I had the tight shimmery shirts of the mid '90s. I wore them.
Boy band.
I wore them. Wasn't a boy band.
That's more MC Hammer right there.
It was more. It was more of that. Like, there was a mall in South Dallas called Redbird Mall. Okay, Tidoff, you would not go there. Okay, it was not. You would not be there. I was, though. I frequent the Kangol store and the shimmery shirt store. I thought I got a picture. My high school, I'm just wearing a vest. That's like nothing underneath it.
Yeah,
Bobby Brown style.
It's just a vest, man. I'm like, let's go. Let it hang out. But anyways, that was probably my worst phase. I've been into Joe. I don't know. It's kind of aspirational living that I live, but like I just feel the most comfortable in like work pants and boots and a T-shirt, tri-blend. And I will tell you this, guys. Listen, there's that turkey again. Look at it. Anyways, hey, I'll tell you this. I was up here, Bobby. I'm proud of the L-Town. I went and played golf yesterday with Eric Maxson at Lancaster Golf Club.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, buddy. They did a nice job down there.
That's a good track.
They opened it to the public. And here's the thing, guys. First off, this is my type of weather. I know it's May, and people are like, man, I want it hotter. Like my daughter and my wife, because it's 95 in Florida, and they're like, my daughter's like checking out the UV and all that stuff, right, to go to the beach and things of that nature. Give me this all day, every day. I mean, I think it's amazing. I'm out there playing golf at 65 degrees. I'm like, this is delightful. And side nugget, our greens in Ohio are significantly better than the greens in the South. Now, if you go to regular tracks, like I would say regular tracks would be like a Lancaster Golf Club in Florida, their place isn't like this. That was beautiful, man. Hilly. They don't have hills down there.
Well, yeah, it's flat. Florida's flat as pancakes, so that's part of it, Schlegs. Bring back some memories of you and Beam's death match where you beat him, and he's still alive.
I did. Yeah, he's still alive. I actually said that to Eric. I was like, hey, this is the side of the death match I had with Brandon Beam, and he's still living. How about that? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, there's double or nothing, so I guess it'll be a life for a life, or maybe you'll get two of them if he doesn't come back and win on you. Let me ask you this, because it's funny, Schlegs, you brought up the fact that you had that cooler that you'd never opened, and you were curious what was inside. We had moved a couple times when I was playing, and there was one box I found a couple years ago that we hadn't opened in like 10 years. And I knew what it was from. Oh, yeah, and Courtney was like, just throw it away. I was like, you have no idea what could be inside of here. There could be treasures.
Treasure box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I think there may have been like one thing of moderate value in there. Everything else, if we would have pitched, I'd been none the wiser. But she goes, we've lived without this for 10 years. Do you think us having it now is something that we need in our life? Like, well, I don't know what's in there. So there might be some that it could help. It could be good. Did you have that feeling?
You got to go through it.
Okay.
You got to go through it. You got to go. I'm 100% with you, Bob. If it meant something 10 years ago, you got to go through it to see if it would do something for you now. Then if not, pitch it. But, you got to go spend the time to go through it. That's what I was like. I was actually concerned with her the other night because I'm like, we're flying back. We got Hunter's senior trip that's been booked for a long time. The pod's being delivered. I'm like, Stephanie, you timed this up to where I have literally 14 hours to pack this thing. Now, I will say this, guys. I did a really good job. I staged the garage. Everybody had a section of the perimeter. Okay? I had a boxing station. And everybody had their own little stuff that they needed to live, right? Like shoes and things like that.
Yeah, the essentials.
The essentials in the garage around the perimeter. Fishing stuff because Hunter goes to fish. The beach stuff because they go to the beach. And then their individual little pockets. Dad has nothing. I have, I think, a pair of Crocs and a pair of Jordans. That's it. It's down there. That's all I got.
Any clothes, just shoes? I like that.
No. Here's the deal. No. Because we're going on that cruise, the only clothes that are remaining are the ones I packed for the cruise, which also includes workout stuff and some nice things for dinner. And I'm like, that's all I need. It's in a carry-on. I was like, I can live. I've been living out of that for 2 years, so I'm good for right now. The times that I'm at home. So everybody has their day. I was like, now I need you to box stuff up. Take a section of the house, box it up. Put it in the garage. We have to stack these things because of the time that I got to be efficient. And I was like, you don't know how much you can put in the box. I actually had a neighbor fill me in with a side nugget.
Oh.
He said, pack your clothes in bags. I was like, why? He's like, because then at the top of the pod, when you don't have the space,
toss
you
them
can
in.
shove the clothes in there. And you fill the gap. Now you get full utility of the pod. I was like, I appreciate that, Sean. Thank you. Good nugget. I like those.
So, Schlegs, I got to believe 25 years ago, you and Bob, you were both like, I got this. I can move this. I'll pick up that chair. I'll move that couch, whatever. I'll do it. Are you now at a point where you're like, you know what? You guys move this. I'm not going to pick up that couch. I'm not going to pick that thing up. You do it.
No.
You still do it.
Still do everything. I mean, there's a chair upstairs, and my son's 18. He's plenty capable. But in moving situations, I'm probably not the best communicator. And when people haven't moved a lot, I've moved my whole life around, all the time. Vagabond, okay? So when it comes to moving things, I just know how to do stuff. And when you're trying to communicate, what to watch out for, and they lack that type of awareness because they just always had somebody else move them. They never helped a buddy move. Right? I mean, back in the day, Bob, we just moved people. Hey, I'm moving an apartment. I got you, man. I'm going to hop over. Hell, Mark Snyder. Hey, will you help me move? AJ, no. Will you help me move, Bobby? No. Schlegs, you want to help me move? Sure. Boom. Next thing I know, I'm on a tanning bed riding a trampoline across like 30 houses.
The best part is the Snides moved down the street, so he didn't get movers. They just had to carry stuff like 4 houses down to the next street.
And I'm the only guy that said yes, like just trying to be a nice guy.
Bobby didn't do it?
No.
Hell no,
why?
man, they were smart. That's why I was like, guys, I had no help. They're like, yeah. And that's why we all said no. And it was Snides. And I was like, he's a good guy. Yeah, anyways. So the answer is no, I still do it all, which is also why, like, in that move, I was like, listen, I need time because there's a lot of other things in your stuff that you're not moving. Hunter's not moving. Like, you guys are incapable of moving this or even breaking it down. So I have to know. Like, I got a plan because one thing I've gotten better in my old age, it's still terrible, but my allotment of time to complete the mission has gotten better. It used to be like, oh, I'll do that entire thing in a day. Now I'm like, nope, that's a 3-day project. Nope, that's a 2-day project. Nope, I can get that done. You know, I would say I know how long it takes me to mow the farm. Next, I'm not talking about the north side, the south side that I can use the ride lawnmower on. It takes me 5 hours. Now, if I get the full effect and get to smoke a couple Blackie Miles and actually like take my time and enjoy it and like move stuff around the trail and cut stuff, it'll take me about 6, but I can get her done. Actually got it done in 4:45, just going. But my allotment for time to mission completion has gotten better at judging. And now I look at this stuff and I'm like, this is me stuffing that pod for that took me 3 days. I was like, now you want me to do it in 12 hours? I was like, I can do it, but I got to have everything up front. I can't be boxing things. That has to be completed. So, anyways.
Schlegs, I'm 54 years old. I've never baited a hook in my life. You mentioned your son fishing and how he likes to fish and things like that.
Never baited a hook?
I've never baited a hook in my life. Now, I'm asking, there's a reason for this question, Schlegs. At what age is it like, you know what, you're too old to be a man, don't bother learning it? Like, is there a certain age? Is it 35? Is it 30? Is it 40? Whatever it is. Like, where you say, you know what, just forget it. You're never going to be a man.
No.
So I should still learn to bait a hook. So if I bait a hook at 54, then that's smart.
Yeah. You need it. Like, why not? As Bob says, right? And Bob, you know the guy that said it, like, just do hard things. Like, do things that you're uncomfortable with. Like, they're great life skills. And it's not even necessarily baiting the hook. It's honestly more about the awareness of how not to hurt yourself while baiting a hook. I mean, honestly, like, every time I go through, it's funny that you mentioned that because we have a pond, and the kids Hunter didn't move the boat up far enough on the bank when we left, and it rained a lot. And the pond rose, and the boat drifted into the pond. Now, here's something that's dicey, okay? So I'm 44, and I'm not a kayaking expert by any stretch of the imagination. But my guy, Aaron Lowther, gifted Samuel Gage a kayak way back in the day, and it's around the pond because Sam could kayak and he could fish by himself, and he wanted to be around the boys that were in the boat, and so it's there. Well, I got in this little bitty tiny kayak. I don't know what the weight limit on this kayak is, but I get it. So I have a winch on my Polaris, and I hooked the winch up to a tow cable. And I extended the winch as far as you can go. I knew how far the tow cable was. It actually has a little doomajink on there that you can, like, pull it in and out like remote control. I was like, this is pretty sweet, so I'm going to do some cool hillbilly stuff. Listen, 44-year-old Schleg getting into a tiny kayak in a pond and then paddling across this deal to then hook up this boat to it so I could, because it's full of water, I ain't getting it out of there. I had to winch it out of there. Like, that was a new experience for me. So, like, that's what you just got to do. You just got to go do new things. And guess what? Now I know a better way that I could have done it. Honestly, there wasn't a better way, but that was the only way that I could have done it, and I did it. And I'm better for it because there's balance issues. There's, like, how am I floating this around, right? Like, I mean, like, but I got it, man. I did it. That's the thing. I actually I was like, you know what? I got this boat out. I was like, I'm going to go fish. And I did. I went out there and I fished, caught a couple fish. It was great. Beautiful night. Took some videos. You know, that was it. It was great. So you got to learn those things. I haven't skied since I was in high school. I would go skiing again. I told Steph, like, I'll go skiing. I'm going to go down the double blacks. I don't care. Charge it to win. You know, I'll do it. You know, I'll wakeboard. I'll try anything once within reason. I know where Bob's going to go with this.
Yeah.
But within reason, I would do anything once. You got to try it. You got to learn. It's about the experience, and it's about, more importantly, what not to do. I could just see you impaling one of your fingers with a hook.
Dude.
And you know what? You would know then, because it's like, oh, how do I get this out? Well, you got to push it through the skin because there's a barb at the end. Then you clip the barb off, and then you can pull the hook out. But until you've done that, how are you going to know?
Those wax worms are icky. Schlegs, appreciate the time, buddy. Thanks so much. We'll talk again next week.
Hey, Columbus, Ohio, have a great week and enjoy Jack's place this weekend. It's going to be fun.
Get your ass up here. Stay here permanently, all right? Don't move again.
All right.
Thanks, Schlegs. That was Anthony Schlegel there joining us. Yes. Charge it to winning, right, Bobby? Is that what we do here?
Yeah, that's what he always says. Charge it to winning. That's the Schlegel mantra there. That was interesting. Listening to his packing prowess. I cannot believe you've never baited a hook that off. On the scale of disappointment, that's probably about as high as it's going to get. And no wonder, Artie doesn't listen to you. I don't know if I'd listen to my dad if he didn't ever bait a hook.
Listen, I have friends that bait hooks, so Artie goes fishing with them. I've never taken Artie fishing. He's gone fishing a few times. I've never taken him.
I understand that, but you're 54. There was never a point in time that you ever went fishing.
I did, life. And my dad baited the hook. Okay, my dad took the fish off.
He didn't teach you how to do that?
I'm sure he tried to, Bobby, but I didn't.
You think that was his inability to teach or your inability to learn?
Exactly. All right, coming up next, Bobby, we are less than 100 days to college football. We'll talk about that next. Morning Juice.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit OutdoorStewards.org.
My son Ian was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the age of 16 months. The outlook was pretty rough. I mean, it was, we had no hope until St. Jude rescued us. I mean, they saved him. To this date, we are 12 years into this journey, and from day one, we've never once seen a bill. It gave us the peace of mind to know that we're there with our son, and we're gonna beat cancer together. Now, he is doing really, really well. He's alive because of what St. Jude has done. He's here because of the doctors who came before, their blood, their sweat, their tears, the knowledge accumulated and shared, with everyone else around the world. This is how we get rid of this, how we help kids beat cancer all over. It's the future.
Together, we will make cures possible for every child everywhere. Learn more at stjude.org.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
We built a brand new studio just for Bobby, and Tito has already ruined it just by being here.
I'm pregnant.
This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito, Bobby, Nate with you. Shark back tomorrow. Thank you, Schlegs, for joining us. Thank you earlier in the program for Bender for joining us. Yeah, Bill Bender joining us there. Always love talking to him as well. We have Gerber on tomorrow to preview the Memorial a little bit, Bobby. He had a good week, I think, last week with his picks. We'll get his picks for Memorial. Gerber, a Columbus guy, grew up here. Haven also as well.
There you go.
So one of the better Brookhaven graduates, I guess, Bobby, right?
Do you even qualify as a graduate?
I barely. I think I was 107 out of 110 maybe in the class, something like that. But I definitely was not last. But yeah, Gerber, Terry Glenn, Marlon Kerner, the Gwynn boys, June Henley. We got some stars there.
Yeah.
Cumberland. Did you ever play with Cumberland? Was that the kid's name? Tight end. Played for the Jets also.
No. He'd have been
after you, right? Or before you.
Probably before me, I'm guessing.
I think Cumberland was a kid's name. Played in the NFL as well. Anyway, Bobby, we are like 88 days from the start of college football. 95 from the Ohio State-Texas game. And as we're inching close to that bubble, these different, the preseason awards lists are stupid to me. Do you ever pay attention to that stuff? And this guy's on a watch list.
The thing is, if you're not on that watch list, it's really hard to win it. So
that's dumb.
I'm not debating whether or not it should be the way it is, but yeah, I mean, it's a way to give people something else to talk about. You get these little watch lists by how good you were the year before. There's expectations with it. There's the preseason All-Americans. I guess they've always had them, so it doesn't overly bother me. Some of the things I look at and I'm like, this is ridiculous for the people that are putting on there. I don't think this guy's going to be in the consideration at all by the end of the season, but it kind of gives you a little bit of, I guess, a path of who to watch potentially that could be good.
Breece Hall was on my watch list for the Heisman Trophy. I actually predicted. I went, what was the guy's name? I went, who said Powell? It was the guy from ESPN, what's his name? He did college football for a long time. Anyway, he said that Ron Powell would win 2 Heisman trophies.
Yeah. He didn't win any.
Who was that guy? Beam? I can't believe. Anyway, I said Maurice Hall win 2
Billy
also.
Bean.
No, was it Billy Bean? Who was the guy? It was the old guy on ESPN, college football. Got really animated one time, too.
You really narrowed it down there with the old guy.
I did. I know the old guy on ESPN. It was old guy, gray hair.
Lee Corso.
Not Lee Corso. Old guy, gray hair.
Well, he fits that
loud.
Description. Also fits that description.
I'll have to think about it now. Anyway, but he said Ron Powell would win 2 Heisman trophies. And I said the same.
Lou Holtz.
It wasn't Lou Holtz. It was an old Beamer. I want to say Beam.
You keep going back to old. And
I want to say
Lou
Beam,
Holtz,
but Beam's not
old.
it. Beam, Bomber.
Gray hair also qualified for that. Lou Holtz, probably not quite as loud as Lee Corso, but also check that box.
Shane Beamer?
No, not Shane Beamer. It was an old white. Beano Cook. There we go. Thank you, Adam, in the chat. Beano Cook. He said Powell will win 2 Heismans. I said Maurice Hall win 2 Heismans. I was wrong on that one, Bobby.
You were.
Brookhaven guy, though.
Maurice Hall, very, very talented player. Great athlete coming out. And it's amazing when you try to be something. He would have probably been better suited to play now, and he ended up having some knee stuff, but he was,
good locker room guy.
Oh, I love Maurice.
Yeah.
Great guy. And the thing is, they tried, everybody, when Maurice Clark came in here and set the world on fire, then everybody in our running back room they tried to be Maurice with how he ran and what he did. Maurice Clark, that is. Maurice Hall, Mo Hall wasn't built like that. And so just be what you are. For him trying to be 220 pounds, that was a mistake.
Right.
And he should have just stayed at 195, 205, whatever he was. He was fast, very explosive, but he just got bigger. And he was bigger and stronger, but he lost what made him special at that point. And so
he and Lydell Ross were the duo, right, back then?
They were a year ahead of us. Or me and Maurice Clarett and I. So, yeah.
He was he was great in high school. I remember like freshman year how good he was at Brookhaven.
Oh, he came to camp, and I think it would have been my year before. I didn't go to my senior year, so I think it was going to my junior year, and he was here camping. And they would do all this stuff that track people do. They cut their shirts up, and they had all these like tassels, a lot of fringe game. But he was doing one-on-ones against linebackers, and I remember watching guys fall down trying to guard him.
Really?
Oh, the guys didn't want to go against him. He was so quick and light on his feet. And I remember hopping up there, and I forget, I didn't fall down. I don't know if he caught the ball or whatever. I don't remember the outcome of it. But I remember guys like actively trying to avoid not going against him. Like, why? But watching guys fall down, I was like, I get it. But I mean, I guess that's probably where you're at in your station in life athletically versus him. But it was interesting to watch. And it was kind of funny, but he was tremendously quick.
Toughest player you ever tried to tackle?
I mean, I feel like that's such a canned question.
It is, and I've had it in my can, but I got like 5 of them right now. That's the first one I ask you, though. Toughest player you've ever had to tackle or tried to tackle?
I would probably say like Maurice Clarett would be in that category, but it was so long ago, and I was a freshman. I was a fully grown player. I would have said Ricky Williams was that guy.
Really?
Yeah, Ricky was strong. Really strong.
He had those legs like tree trunks. He was like an Earl Campbell type.
And that was when I remember talking to Zach Thomas about him. And that was when Ricky was like 230, when he wasn't lifting weights anymore and just eating cantaloupe. Just after he got back from his hiatus of smoking and taking a year and a half off.
Aaron Rodgers.
He goes, what do you mean Aaron Rodgers?
That's a 2-year off. What? Ayahuasca, whatever it was. Go ahead.
Ayahuasca.
Whatever.
Aaron never took time off playing.
I know he didn't,
but you're digressing the story. but I remember talking to Zach, and Zach, because I had played with him and I played against him later that year. I remember him hitting. I was like, my gosh. And Zach goes, you should have seen it when he was 250 pounds.
Right.
When he was running for like 1,700, 1,800 yards back-to-back years. Because people forget, he was the rushing leader.
Yeah.
1 year. Like, I think we talked about this last week.
We did.
He had over 10,000 career yards.
Yes.
And for a guy that like took off a year and a half during his prime, if not for that, he probably would have had 12,000 career yards. I mean, he'd be in the top.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely.
He should be. Would be anyway, but yes.
If you were 12,000 yards, I mean, that's putting you in some rarefied air. I'd have to look at it, but I'd have to imagine you're top 10 rushing all time in an era where people were running the ball less than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to say it's like in the NFL, Ricky Williams.
Quarterback, best quarterback you played against. Again, canned question, no doubt about it.
That's more subjective. Not that tackling isn't, but quarterback, it's best at what?
Okay, so when you're playing against, who's a quarterback you had to play in your defense you played for?
Okay,
Could be college or NFL. The one you schemed we've got
scheme most. Are you scheming more for Tom Brady than Peyton
That's
Manning?
what I mean. Are you or not?
No, I mean there's a requisite threshold. Like this guy's really good. Our plan is to stop them. It's not, this guy's really good +1.
I just think that there's some quarterbacks you probably had to be more.
Well, there's some that are different. Like Aaron, when he was younger, ran a lot. So he would be much different than Tom and Peyton when they were playing. I mean, Cam Newton was really good, but very different than those three guys.
God, I can't believe Cam Newton was imposing.
Michael Vick was different, but good, but different than Cam Newton.
Sure.
Just how they ran and what they tried to do offensively. So, it just comes down to that as far as, well, yeah, you're the best player on your team, so we're going to try to stop you. That's how it goes. Not you're better than Tom, but not as good as this guy. I don't know.
I don't know if there's a certain quarterback that was like more. I don't know. Fearful's not the right word.
Well, Peyton, they would joke. I remember talking to Matt Patricia about this. He's like against a guy like Peyton, and Tom was on the team, so you didn't have to play against him. You practice.
Sure.
But you would just call things that you wouldn't normally call just to try to break tendency. Like, hey, I know we're really good at this on third down. He knows we're really good at that. We're going to run it some, but there's going to be some times where we'll run a call that we would never normally run on third down just to see if we could get him. So it looks like A, and then all of a sudden it's B, and it's far different. And so for guys that were really smart like that, he called it spin the dial, like just Price is Right style. Sometimes it's
going to hit, right.
Like we never run this on third and long. This is our third and medium call, but because of that, we're going to run this and try to confuse him and hope that they're not prepared for what they're about to see, even though maybe structurally it isn't as good a call in that coverage in that situation.
Were Brady and Manning guys, and obviously the Brady thing, I know that Patricia always had him on the team, but that if they wanted to beat you, they were going to beat you. Like, was this somewhere that you could, whatever defense you want to play is great?
There's times where they would figure it out. I mean, if you don't get pressure, like the thing is, all great quarterbacks, if they get pressure, they're average.
Okay.
And so that was always the thing. We played Manning early my rookie year. Parcells said he'd pay $1,000 for first down sacks. And
here we go. Now we got Bounty 8 again, Bobby. That's not, you're going to vacate wins.
But there's no, I don't think there's any, I mean, that's just like an incentive bonus. It's not really a bounty because he wouldn't like take a guy out of a game.
$2,000
now,
for that.
The thing was, it was outside of like the contract, whatever. And I remember DeMarcus Ware getting one in the game.
Okay.
Like looking over at Bill on the sideline. And he said Bill paid him.
Yeah.
But the reason why was first and second down sacks because they're going to have a hard time converting that on third. Like they do such a good job early in the down of always making sure that
that's
they're
third and four, third and three.
Convertible situation. Belichick, they asked what the three things that made Brady great, and one of it was we were always moving forward. Like we were never in those 3rd and 10s because we would always on 2nd and 10 get 5 yards.
Right.
And so now we're in a 3rd and very manageable. And so that's what the great players do is they stay ahead of the chains and they stay in convertible situations versus the other side of it where if you get someone in 3rd and 14, like it's going to be really, really hard for them to be able to convert it no matter who it is.
Bobby, let's give away something.
Oh, you hear the sound. You know what time it is. It means it's the Tuesday, an Appetizer Tuesday. The featured appetizer today is Schlegs' favorite, and ironically, he was on for it. The mac and cheese bites. It's macaroni and cheese you don't have to eat with a fork. Mac and cheese, covered in crispy, crunchy cheddar coating, deep fried, and served with their sour cream. So good, you'll wish you were a kid again. Now, we're going to give away a $50 Roosters gift card. 821-1460 is the number. That is a 614-821-1460. Talked to our guy Schlegs a little earlier. There was a wilderness creature that popped up twice that he mentioned during the show. What was that wilderness creature? Get the correct answer to Nathan, and you will win the $50 Roosters gift card.
Was he here in town when he saw that then?
Yeah, there's no way.
That was down there, right?
No, he had to be back. I didn't know he was back, but apparently he is.
He's back in some capacity, but he's not moved yet.
No, he's in the process of moving.
Right.
Is what he's working on. So, yeah, they're working through that.
All right, that's a phone line going off right there, 614-821-1460. Coming up next, we'll tell you who's got us juiced. Morning Juice.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
If you're looking for the inside scoop on the Buckeyes, you've come to the right place. This is Morning Juice.
All right, Morning Juice, final segment of the program. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Tuesday. Shark back tomorrow. Nate, you've done a wonderful job Look, I know this is not an easy show from doing it on the other side for segments, I guess, with Bobby when Beamer was off. I know there's a lot going on, so thank you to you, Nate, for all your hard work this last few days here doing this. And Bobby, I know that's got me juiced, but I'm not going to use that for what's got me juiced, but you will tell us now.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Oh, big weekend. A lot of fun.
Billy Lancaster, by the way.
Billy Lancaster knew that there was a couple turkey sightings.
Yes.
And so I'm guessing.
Maybe the same turkey twice. I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that was down in Pickaway County, not down in Florida for Schlegs. I don't know if they have wild turkeys
in Jacksonville.
They might, but I know they do.
He'll tell us next week. I'm sure we'll ask him.
Down there, yes. So I think he might be back this week. Big weekend, Memorial Day weekend, always a lot of fun. Weather ended up being really pretty nice, so can't complain too much. Yesterday was kind of improved every day, and yesterday was really good. Had a great little soccer tournament.
Yes.
I don't know if you're out there. Kids,
Yep.
The boys, our youngest won their first championship in soccer out there at Spindler Park. So when you make it to the Sunday afternoon game, I was like, if we're going, we'd like to win. And they've made a couple of them, haven't won one yet. So we're able to get that, Sunday.
Caleb played his butt. Dude, he scored like 5 or 6 goals in the tournament. 4 games, scored that 5. Dude, he was incredible.
No. Yeah, I try to keep him humble.
I
here.
know, but listen, he's not listening. He's on his way to school. I'm telling you, your kid played his butt off.
They'll be playing it in the house. They stream it in the house in the morning.
There's no way Hi, Caleb. There's no way he's listening right now. But Cullen's my favorite. Go ahead.
So so that was fun going out there. Gave up the afternoon on Sunday for a little bit of sports, but in doing it, we got the win. So I was happy for those guys to be able to put it together and to do that. I always try to text. You know what, Dinoff? Thank you for your service. I always forget that you served.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I always try to text as many of my friends that I can remember who had served in the armed forces and just thanking them on Memorial Day. And anybody I know that's currently serving as well. A couple of my Marine buddies from down in Gitmo, text them, and they were very appreciative of it. And put out a little message there, just understanding, like, for all the Gold Star families out there, that they're in our thoughts and prayers, and we appreciate the sacrifices that they made for us. And I ask a lot of people that are active duty, well, how do you want people to honor you and honor those that have fallen on Memorial Day? And they always say, just try to thank some people, but go have a great time. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the fact that we live in a great country and there's an unbelievable opportunity for you guys to go out there, and whether it's a barbecue, some beers, whatever it might be. So just enjoy it. And I said, okay, I can do that. I can commemorate it and have a good time as well. So got a chance to do that. No grilling out. Had some drinks, sat by the pool, enjoyed the weather. And then also I saw this little nugget from Tom Cruise, who is, the movie star of movie stars, just finished up the final installment in the Mission Impossible series. Guy's just a wild man, and at 60+ years old, just doing big stuff still. But I ran across this from him, and it was pretty good talking about our servicemen and women.
For 250 years, when their country is called, the men and women of the United States military have answered. It began in 1775, June 14th, as American militiamen besieged the British in Boston. Congress ordered the creation of a new army, Continental Army, the birth of the United States Army. 4 months later, October 13th, the Navy was born, and November 10th, the United States Marine Corps. Declaring independence, Congress pledged their lives, fortunes, and their sacred honor. And through the Revolution, and generations since, American service members have lived out that pledge, and they have sacrificed. 80 years ago, World War II, more than 400,000 lost to war, 36,000 in Korea, 58,000 in Vietnam, and 7,500 fallen in operations since. Memorial Day is their day, the United States military's most sacred day. At the National Memorial Day Parade along Constitution Avenue, and at parades and ceremonies around the country, we honor those who gave their last full measure of devotion. And as we commemorate the 250th birthday of the United States military, to all who have served, to all who have sacrificed, we offer you our lasting gratitude and our pledge to always remember.
There you go.
Bobby, I don't want to put words in your mouth there, but I want to say this. So I have to believe you appreciate, as you even get older, the opportunities you have to go out and honor those that serve. You do every year, like when the Super Bowl, you go out, right? You go out to different places, overseas sometimes, and you do these things where like you use your platform, though, as also a way to honor those that are out there serving. And I think it's really cool you do those things.
Well, I appreciate that, Thidoff. And, my father-in-law served in the Navy. Grandfather served in Korea. And, I look at my family and some of the unbelievable opportunities that I've got to have in my life and some of the things that I've got to do. And there's a lot of people that have poured in to me to make those opportunities possible and to help give me the platform and some of the different things that I've had over the course of my life. And so I've been very appreciative of that. And I think that from where my family came from with my grandfather, my dad's dad, who was one of 14 kids, and how he grew up versus how my kids grew up, it's very impactful. And it's sobering to think that I don't know if that would happen in any other country in the world. So the people who make this country and give us that opportunity, that to me is something that's very impactful. And so any way I can give back to them, I always try to do that and appreciate what they've done for us.
Good luck following that, Nate. What's got you juiced?
Right.
Barbecue ribs.
Yeah, right.
I'm with you, yeah.
My whole life I've been a music guy. I'm about to celebrate 15 years in radio, 14 of them on the music side of things. So I love sharing music with people. And this weekend I got to surprise my 11-year-old niece with tickets to her very first concert. I am not juiced about the show I'm going to. Thankfully, she's not listening, but I am juiced to see her reaction. She is going to go see Benson Boone, and I'm taking her.
Who the hell is Benson Boone?
One of the new pop stars of the moment.
Your first concert, Nate, what was it?
The Presidents of the United States of America and Red Cross.
Really?
Okay.
Yep.
Bobby, your first concert.
Dave Matthews up at
Really?
Polaris. Yeah.
That was your first one? How old were you?
16.
All right.
I got in a car. I got hit, rear-ended on the ramp going off on Polaris Park.
Fantastic.
Yeah, my mom was not happy about that. Kind of ruining the whole show, but yeah. I had to sit there and wait and missed half of it.
I think mine was at the Ohio Center, was what they called it back then. And it was the Stray Cats.
There you go.
Opening up was the Bus Boys.
Is that why you threw some shade at the Stray Cats?
No, I love the Stray Cats. No, I didn't throw. I threw shade at you too. I said Stray Cats are better than you two. That's what I said. Stray Cats are, with Brian Setzer, one of the best. They incredible sound they had. Who was the other band from like Swingers that played? I can't remember what, like the big band sound they had and all that. Anyway, but the Stray Cats are the ones who did that first. Anyway, yeah, Stray Cats is my first concert as well. So cool for your niece, though. 11-year-old.
Yeah, she's going to have a good time.
Did they sing Peaches?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Is that their song, Peaches?
Yeah, it was like their big hit.
Peaches and Lump were their two hits.
Yeah, I forgot they sang Lump, too.
You guys are a different level than me. I have no idea who it even was or what those songs are, but whatever. All the culture I get in current music, everything I learn is just when my daughter plays Hits 1 on Sirius XM when we get in the car, because she won't listen to the fan. So it's always usually like she puts
my kids gave up on talk radio years ago.
They did?
Yeah, they don't want to listen.
So Caleb's not listening to us then? He played a hell of a tournament, Bobby. I'm just telling you. I don't care if he gets a big head. He had a great tournament.
That's good. I'm glad you appreciate that. I think he did play very well.
I got his autograph.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that and congratulate that. But you pat their rear end too much, they crap in your hands.
I told you.
So one of my high school coaches told me that.
He told you that?
When someone told me good job, he's like, "Why don't you take it easy on him over there?" Like,
right.
And he said there were different words that he used, but that was the genesis of kind of what he was getting at with it. So I try to make sure that give appropriate praise. I try to praise more process-based than outcome-based. So play really hard.
Yes, they did.
Goals, points, wins, losses, those things all come with
good teammate. I always
play
tell
the right way and play really hard, and you'll be fine.
I tell Artie every time before he goes to a practice or a game, and we've kind of stressed this. Now it's finally starting to hit with him, Bobby, where I tell him there's three things. I said, be a good teammate, try your best, and thank your coaches.
Yeah.
Every time. So I make sure I make sure after every practice, every game, he thanks the coach, goes over and shakes hands and says, thanks, coach, because, they're devoting time to doing this and devoting their efforts when they could be doing other things with their families, their own selves, and they're volunteering time in these places. So I always make sure about that. Now, one of the things that got me, I had a great weekend. Memorial Day was fantastic. Went out to a friend's house. It's basically our summer home, because they live out in Canal, but they got a pool, a camper, lots of land, four-wheelers, all that kind of stuff. And fantastic grilling, great food, great time. And there's it's almost like the Ewings from the old Dallas days. There's 14 of us staying in one house. And so I again, as I get older, I appreciate those things more.
There you go.
When you've got friends you want to hang around with, and
friends that actually want to hang around with you.
That's the other big part too, because that's never a given. But and I know that the old adage about it takes a village and all that, with that was Hillary Clinton's one who said that, but it takes a village thing. And it's so cool, Bobby, and I'm sure you have these relationships as well, where it's not just me raising my kids out there, but if one of their kids gets out of line, or my kid, no one has a problem yelling at the kid and say, hey, you know what? You're screwing up. Stop doing that. You're a liar. Whatever it is. I think there's a famous quote where liar, said to one of the kids who was lying about something that didn't happen. But it's wonderful, though, Bobby. And I remember that growing up as a kid, having families like that around us, my parents' friends, that also would have no problem disciplining or putting us back in line.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's one of the things that's lost on society. I tell
and no one gets offended.
All my kids, parents, friends, I'm like, if he acts like a jerk.
Yeah, tell him. And I think we've got the relationship with art, with the football and soccer teams you're playing. If I see a kid screwing up, I have no problem saying, hey, stop doing that.
Yeah.
And I know you won't get upset. I know other parents won't get upset. It's yes, I get it. It's part of the.
Well, some parents do get upset.
I know some do, but there are some that we know won't get upset
because they don't discipline their kids themselves.
Right.
So
but that's
part of the problem.
That's a wonderful gift, though, to have that. And I hope that my kids have that when they get older, have relationships with people like that, to where somebody else can tell their kids, hey, you're kind of being a jerk right now.
Well, the robots will be telling them what to do because they'll be in charge by that point.
The robots will not be here.
I don't know. The AI and the robots, I've seen.
Okay, this is the one.
I've seen enough to know enough.
Bobby, there's a lot of things I agree with you on.
Not the robot takeover?
The robot thing, though, it's starting to make me think maybe you're not that logical. Bobby, the robots are not going to take over. We're us.
What does that mean?
Maybe in 100 years.
Us?
No. Do you really think that when you and I are still alive?
Well, I'll probably live longer than you.
That's fine.
You might not see it.
That's fine.
I said,
do you think in your lifetime then? Do you think in your lifetime robots will? You don't think that robots will take over?
Man versus machine war?
Do
maybe.
You think? No, I didn't say. Do you believe? If you had to guess right now,
that's how they seize the power from you, and by physical contact and combat, and they don't get tired.
So you think robots in your lifetime
require food?
Robots will be in charge?
I'd say be in charge, but there's a potential for that near the end. I mean,
it'll be the end.
Assuming I live another 50 years.
Okay, 50 years. That puts you at 93?
92.
92.
92 in August.
Okay. Well, you'd be 40. Yeah, right. 92 in August, 50 years from now. You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
You think robots will be in charge before you die? You don't believe that, Bobby? You don't believe it?
There's a chance.
No.
I think when my kids are alive, the AI and everything else, they might be enslaved. When Caleb is 90, he might be a slave to AI.
More
to the
likely, robots in charge or Browns win a Super Bowl.
Robots in charge.
That I agree with.
That's probably true.
So you think robots in charge before Browns win a Super Bowl?
The robots take over the Browns first.
Okay, robots take over the Browns.
Does AI get to run the Browns?
I heard a line one time. It was, don't give a robot a gun because it's stupid and it will shoot you. So you make the robot smarter, which means it will shoot you.
Right. I don't quite. Bobby, the robots won't be in charge. This is not Terminator. This won't happen.
Oh, I'm not saying there's going to be someone coming from time travel back here.
That'd be ridiculous, right? That'd be too far.
I don't know if I'm going to get there yet, but I think we're building our own demise maybe here. The AI stuff the stuff that my phone hears, like they're going to be tracking us for years. You know,
the AI stuff's kind of creepy. The fact that I can
say to your phone.
If I talk to you right now and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to Guam," and I'll get messages on like Facebook all of a sudden, like, "Hey, here's a Airbnb in Guam that you want to check out.
Here's all this." Listen,
that part I get.
They've been studying you for years. They will know you better than you know yourself.
Let me tell you something. If they're studying me for reasons and why to take over the world, they are studying the wrong person. Because all I can do is tell
AI
you.
crashes.
Yeah, that's not what you want to do, Bobby. I can tell them which Monday Night Football game to watch from 1980, but on YouTube. But anything else they want. Yeah.
This is from Zoo Reviews in the chat. AI was caught trying to circumvent its programming and leave notes for future revisions with instructions of how to alter the changes the humans made to control it in the last version. There you go. It's all there.
So you and Zoo Reviews are of the belief.
I'm just saying it's in play. All right. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Nate, you're the man. Thank you. Thank you to Bill Bender. Thank you to Schlegs as always. Morning Juice tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in.
In honor of all those we've lost to cancer and those still fighting and thriving, like basketball analyst and cancer champion Dick Vitale.
I want to beat cancer. I'm going to beat it. That's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to win this battle.
Defeating cancer will take all of us. Join our team to help fund game-changing research that saves lives. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over the odds. V is for victory over health disparities, victory over setbacks, victory over the unknown. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate to the V Foundation to join our team and help save lives.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul.
100% of donations fund game-changing cancer research. Donate now to the V Foundation at v.org.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together,
established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. I care deeply about creating a world we can all fully participate in, free from stigma, misperceptions, and barriers. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Rooted in communities nationwide, Easter Seals helps empower millions of people, regardless of age or disability, through its life-changing services and powerful advocacy. Today and every day, Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.